Welcome back to 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast, a show focused on highlighting the illustrious Prairie View A&M University, the HBCU of Texas, by promoting SWAC and the HBCU experience, featuring your fellow PV Panthers, Roland Austin, Jay Cleasy, Big Mike Washington, three-time SWAC champ Gati Werema, former drum major HBCU band historian Shawnetta Haskell, and Al Williams, driving the show from the Hill. Please subscribe and follow us on social media at 1876 SCP. And don't forget, we do it for the culture.
And welcome to the 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast. You have yours truly, Al Williams. In for Joe Clay, we got Victor Langford once again. Big Mike still on the road, but he in the house. And Roland with us, he with us again. Let's go. Shawnetta is on assignment, and so is Guy T. So let's get going, man. I'm glad this week we don't have to plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
Thank you, Alcorn.
Yes. All right, but it is a lot going on the Hill, so we're going to talk a little football later, but a couple things I want to get to. First thing, Atika Locke named the 2023-2024 Writer-in-Residence. So we proudly announced the appointment of her as Writer-in-Residence for the Toni Morrison Writing Program. She is a distinguished American fiction author and acclaimed writer, producer for television and film, and will be formally introduced this coming Thursday, September 28th at 11 a.m. in PV's Don K. Clark Building Auditorium. So if you are on the yard, please make sure that you go and join and welcome Atika Locke to the yard as our Writer-in-Residence for 2023-2024. Big deal.
Yeah. Where is the John K. Locke Auditorium?
That is in the MSC.
Got it. Okay.
In the
All
MSC.
right. So you just throwing out new naming rights.
Hey,
I'm like,
somebody paid big money to name that auditorium. So I want to make sure they getting their money's worth.
I understand. For those like myself, I just wanted to know where did we go?
Hey, Roland, I didn't know either. I'd have been lost.
Hey, look, one day, if we be so fortunate, we're going to have our name on some stuff, and you best call it and put some respect on my name.
Put all my initials on there, buddy.
That's right.
Drop that pen.
That's right.
So this program though it's a big deal. She's like the third writer in residence for this program, but I mean I was reading her background, and so but one of the things that drew her into literature was Toni Morrison's novel Beloved. Did y'all see that movie?
Man, that was our introduction to what's the actress, British actress. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Played in several movies, but it was our first introduction to her. It'll hit me in a minute. Keep going, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fandy Newton.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
She was big in that. I wasn't a fan. I had to see it twice to really get it, but after seeing that, she went into literature. So, her connection to Morrison goes far beyond just her love for literature. She really was moved by that movie Beloved. So she has some literature of her own, what the Exiles Lament, and another one called Blackwater Rising. Now that sounds like some intriguing stuff. I don't know if I want to dab into that, but phenomenal writer.
We are lucky to have her. I'm really excited that we keep bringing in big names for this Writer-in-Residence program. This is our third year with it, and they do not disappoint.
No, they don't.
Hey, we're excellent resides.
Yes. So did y'all see there was a letter issued from President LeGrand on some leadership changes at PV. Vic, did you see that?
Yeah. So it came out, I believe it was Wednesday of last week on the 19th. So basically the letter from President LeGrand states that effective October 1, 2023, Dr. Beverly Copeland will transition from Vice President of Student Affairs to a role of Special Assistant to the President for Special Projects for the remainder of the academic year. And so at this point, Dr. Copeland will be, her position will be appointed to a Mr. Edward Willis for an interim vice president of student affairs. And Mr. Willis is like a seasoned professional. He has stints with a lot of HBCUs as vice president of student affairs for Southern University, for Norfolk State University, and also even for FAMU. So also, as Dr. Copeland takes over the role of special projects, whatever that is, but they are going to start a national search for our next permanent vice president of student affairs, which will launch later this fall. And they expect to have that position filled by, I want to say, 24. So like sometime in the summer 24 is when they expect to have our new vice president of student affairs selected.
And we
how long has she been in place? She's been in place for a minute, right?
I want to say she's
because Dr. Sam's just left. It's been it's been less than a couple of years.
She's been there maybe 2 years because Ransom was interim. Remember, Ransom was interim. Then he went back to student affairs as a dean of students. Then I think he retired. So it's only been about 2, maybe 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
But presidents got to bring their own folks in. So our provost stepped down earlier this summer after the graduation debacle. So we also are doing a national search for a provost. And I say debacle because I didn't get to see my child cross the doggone stage. Debacle.
It was a debauchery.
Sam Cooke, change gonna come.
Hey, real quick and swift, like I hope.
He said, "What do you say, woosah, woosah?"
Yeah, I'm in real earlobes.
But yeah, just in case, for the general audience that doesn't really have an idea, kind of what all does a VP of Student Affairs do, I've just kind of, just from my standpoint too, want to make sure. So VP of Student Affairs oversees all areas of student services and provides leadership for and oversight of the development, management, assessment, and quality improvement, including student recruitment, enrollment management, admissions, placement/testing, orientation, registration and records, financial aid, retention, and other student activities. So a very important role that we really, need to get this right.
I would say very important role for a president with some enrollment numbers targets in mind, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you read all of that, it sounds like she definitely want to handpick the person to help her read. We know she has a goal, even if it hadn't been stated. We know she has an enrollment goal.
Well, really, what was her strong suit? Remember, in her background,
it
was managing student services and student enrollment. That was her big deal.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be surprising if we see one of her proteges filling that seat here real soon. So
that's right. Hey, bring your own folks in. I ain't mad. I ain't mad.
I ain't mad either.
Hey, I ain't mad either. We gotta get this right because
but do we really want 15,000? Do we want 15,000?
Yes, we do
want 15,000. If we get 15,000, we can maybe get 7 in the football stadium.
Now hold on. Now here's the question. Now don't come up here complaining about parking. We got 15,000.
Now we do need a parking structure.
There is a responsible way to go to 15,000. We just got to be smart about it. Don't do the target just because we got to think of parking. So what?
Yeah, and we've got to get that infrastructure with, when we're getting the registration, or especially incoming students, we got to make that quote unquote as seamless as possible because we still got some gaps. I have a nephew that didn't make it in this past as a freshman because there were some things that, just kind of kept getting lost or whatever. But we gotta, we still got work to do when it comes to registration and all that good stuff. So
I think we've just been focusing on the wrong thing. And it's a key phrase that I was just reminded of earlier today is that what you pay attention to is what you get paid for. So if you don't pay attention to everything and all the elements, you're gonna miss out on some key areas, right? And we see like your nephew, right? We see where those gaps are really getting highlighted to alums now, and that's going to be a critical point. It used to be back in the day there was no real connection. Now you're seeing alums, kids, and their family members falling through the gaps and not getting their due and their justice. And you're like, hey, hold up now. Look, you're gonna call me once a year to write a check.
And striking a whole lot of nerves.
Exactly.
That part.
It's those very last nerves that you don't want to be on. The very last ones. The one before the last, you might be okay, but that very last one, not a safe place to be.
Exactly. So I hope it gets done right, and like you said, hope we focus on the right things.
All right. Exactly. Now, also on the yard this past weekend, Panther Invent program. Mike, you talked about that a little bit. It was a 48-hour student competition.
Yeah, that's a neat little program. I found out about it. I had one of the students who interned with us actually was a participant or whatever and was telling me about it. It's basically, as you said, it's kind of like a weekend long day, 48 hours. It's a competition. So each group or student brings a different theme or is given a different theme. It's sponsored by companies and by the faculty. But, they could be anywhere from healthcare to electrical engineering to chemical engineering to animal science. And it's an existing real world problem. And they have 48 hours to really solve this real world problem and do kind of a presentation. And then they're mentored by faculty and industry experts. So, and they compete, actually. There's money on the table as well.
Okay.
So there's a little competition going on here. So I thought it was a pretty neat program. So
was it a little bit more than senior design, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
That is cool, man.
And the big thing is there are monetary awards, and they'll be recognized for their innovative talent. So that monetary award, I know that competition is going to be real.
Hey, get my attention.
Say, look here, man. We not
just go register for the summer class real quick.
Right.
you have a serious talk with your teammates. Say, look here, man. Not just about the grade. We got some money in this thing.
I got money on the table.
Say, we talking about a whole lot of financial aid coming your way. You might want to get it.
No, we blocking no blessings out here. All right. So also in the news this week, women's soccer finally into SWAC play. So they are overall 1-6, but they are 1-0 in the SWAC. They took out University of Arkansas Pine Bluff this past week. So the tail of the tape. So Arkansas Pine Bluff broke the 0-0 tie when Giselle Bernal scored in the 27th minute. The Lady Panthers responded to tie things up on a goal from Deja Lewis, her first goal of the season in the 28th minute, assisted by Maya Sheridan. And then Prairie View broke the 1-1 tie on Lewis's 41st minute goal, her first of the season. So the Lady Lions fought back to knot things up at 2-2 with the 66th minute goal from Burnell. Then Prairie View broke the tie and took a 3-2 lead on Sheridan's first goal of the season in the 83rd minute, assisted by Jada Davis. The match closed out with another goal scored. So we are on now. Let's go. I think they played Grambling earlier today. We'll wait to see what the results were from that. But
actually, I think they failed to Grambling.
Oh, they failed to Grambling?
Yeah, I think so. One to zip. Yeah.
1-0.
Pretty good game, but they couldn't pull that one off.
All right. Well, good luck to the Lady Panthers. That is now becoming one of the hot sports on campus. You see a lot of students show up for the soccer game, so that's a hot ticket. I like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the standings. You think you look at the record, but if you look at the standings, they go on statistics a lot. So Pine Bluff was at the top of the SWAC in stats. In terms of goals, their scoring average, opponent average as well. So they beat a top-ranked team in Pine Bluff as well. So this is no light team, and they're just breaking into SWAC play. So let's give them a chance. Let's see what these ladies can do.
Hey, they're looking like they're gonna be all right.
Yeah. I think they're gonna be all right.
I'm liking what I see.
We got a new coach. We got a new old coach. So let's get it. Let's get it. Hey, did y'all hear about the letter that the White House sent to 16 states regarding funding of HBCUs this week?
I
Yes.
heard about that, but what I mean, what do we do? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So
Tell us about that
Education
letter.
Secretary Miguel Cardona and Agriculture Secretary Thomas Vilsack sent letters to governors of Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. And basically, he cited data from the National Center for Education Statistics and found the gap in funding could have supported infrastructure and student services and would have better positioned the university to compete for research grants, and that the HBCUs will be much stronger and better positioned to serve as students in those states and the nation if made whole with respect to the funding gap of $13 billion with a B dollars.
And the gap range per school from 1 to 2 billion.
Yes.
So yes,
yes.
that's a huge gap.
I think they closed out the letter saying that this is a situation that clearly predates all of us, but it is a problem that we can work together to solve. I thought that was interesting wording. When the White House says we can work together to solve this problem, are they bringing some money to the table? I mean, we got an election coming up. If you want to secure
that
some
sounds
votes,
like some election hocus pocus.
come on with it.
Sound like
My
some
vote.
some November switcheroo on us.
Hey, don't. Hey, what it say? What it say? Don't play me, pay me.
That's it.
Exactly.
You closed that $2 billion funding gap for PV, or what is it now? 1.2 now? You close that gap, you just might get my vote.
I guess my take on this is like, and I'm sure that's what Roland's going to, is like, we probably, I mean, yeah, we know there's a gap. We see
no big surprise.
Yeah,
there, right?
That's no surprise. So, I get you want to say, okay, but again, proof is in the pudding. What's really gonna happen? Because I mean, you don't take a seeing man to know that there are gaps.
Look, V, and it's not it's not circumstantial that all of those states are in the South.
I know, right?
Every
notice that, right?
Hey, then y'all were all of those,
Let me ponder on that. Why is that? Yeah.
So I'm like, man, it's no surprise. I just don't want us to get caught up in the politics of this. Understand the timing of it all. We know that the data is real. We know that it's not. We've been talking about this for years, for decades now, right? And it's finally starting to get more and more rhetoric behind it, and it seems like we're getting a lot more attention behind it. But don't let up off the gas after they get your vote. That's right. The other side of it, because that's gonna get us to the polls. But then we got them for 4 years now, and they still don't deliver. We still talking about this same letter 5 years from now.
No, what was disappointing is it started in 1860. Then they re-upped it in 1890.
Yes.
They've talked about it for the last couple of 100 years, and now hopefully that rhetoric is starting to get some teeth behind it. I'm not convinced just yet, but they're at least talking about it in both sides of the house. So
let me quote the end of the letter. It says, in fact, it is our hope that we can collaborate to avoid burdensome and costly litigation that has occurred in several states. So they like, keep messing around. We're going to stick the DOJ on you. and it's going to cost you a whole lot of money on the front end and the back end. So I think they might be... they might have a big joker in their hand.
I don't know.
Hey, hopefully I can get my 40 acres and a mule too.
So 40 acres and a mule and Ken Paxton. for those listeners that are outside the state of Texas, Ken Paxton is our attorney general who was impeached by the Texas House, went to trial in the Texas Senate. He donated $2 million to the lieutenant governor who oversaw the process, and miraculously, he was found innocent of all 16 charges. He's like, yeah, I did it. Now what?
It's the
What you
law.
gonna do, challenge. Man,
Ms.
these Republicans in
Hawkins.
Texas are special. Boy, they special.
Well, walked out there like Nino Brown.
Yeah,
Don't blame
yeah.
me. It's the
bigger than
law.
me.
It's bigger than me.
So just in case of a few folks who are listening do not know what the Moral Land Grant Act is, and you think it only touches historically Black colleges and university, that is one of the reasons why we have that name, HBCUs. In 1860, it gave states 30,000 acres to establish public colleges and universities. Auburn, University of Georgia, UT, University of Kentucky, you name it, they all benefited from this money by this act. Well, they realized that they left some schools out, and then they went back in 1890 and passed a re-up, for lack of better terms, and that still left HBCUs, those that were classified as HBCUs, off. So that's why we're so upset. We can get our 40 acres in a mule. I don't think we got a half acre, to be honest. If you look at this monetarily, so we're talking about this in the year our Lord 2023, and it's still an issue.
Still an issue.
Yeah.
Makes me want
Still waiting on that mule too.
Hey,
I need one.
All right, and with that, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk some football.
I see no reason.
Let's talk some football, man.
2nd and 5. First the hole up the middle, and breaks free. The 20, the 10.
Touchdown, Prairie View. And it is Tristan Wallace.
Now, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I did not have us going to the reservation and beating Alcorn at Alcorn. My hat is off to Trajan Conley. He will not give up on this team, no matter what the situation. I just love his leadership, and QB1 is showing out.
Man. So, data point. Prairie View has not beaten Alcorn State since 2016. Data point. Prairie View has not won in Lorman, Mississippi since 2015. Data point. Alcorn and Southern were picked almost 1-1 to win the SWAC West. Data point. We went there and reached the top rated rushing team in the SWAC and actually forced them to have to pass, something they're not comfortable with. Anytime you force Alcorn State to take 37 pass attempts, dude, that is something they're not comfortable with. And they were for whatever, I don't know what they did defensively. They stuffed the line, but they were able to stop the Alcorn State running attack, which consists of 3 all-SWAC running backs, Jarvion Howard, Nico Duffy, and Aaron Allen, the quarterback himself. These are all SWAC players. They stuffed it, kept them to 3.5 yards per carry, and forced them to take nearly 40 attempts on the pass, something that is not characteristic of Alcorn State. And we said at the beginning of the year, if you can go on the road and pull out a win on somebody's home team, somebody's good at rushing, you got a chance at finishing ahead in the SWAC. And Vila Gomez, his second walk-off on the road.
Walk-off, baby.
Yeah, to him. Play. He said, give me my theme music.
50-yard. We're not going to hype him up. Do not hype him up too much. Y'all keep it down. Remember, we don't want that jinx on our kicker. But he did hit a 50-yard walk-off with 0 on the clock.
Hey, man, we were living La Vida, Villa Gomez.
Hey, but we gotta give credit. He's not here. Our executive producer, we had 3 receivers that were big. We had Brian Jenkins, the transfer from Alabama A&M. Trajan Spiller came up big, 4 for 54 yards. Then you had a young man named Kobe Cavill, a.k.a.
Cavill. He from the Cavill side.
He said he from the Cavill side.
It's the Cavill side.
He's from the Cavill side.
Nephew came through in the clutch.
Nephew came through.
Hey,
his catch actually set up the last winning score. So, no, all seriousness, hats off to that young man as he came in. They needed that fourth receiver to come in, but heck, they got a bonus in what's his name?
Dylan Domel.
Dylan Domel. Yeah, 6'3" from my hometown, San Antonio. They started using him a little bit more. He only had 2 or 3 catches, but they started using him. He's one of those big body receivers, 6'3", that can move. And so give it Trayvon Conley for all the criticism he get. He spread the ball across all these 4 or 5, all the weapons that Prairie View has, and pulled out the dub.
Hey, Big Mike, give it up to my boy too. I'm gonna start calling him Double A Battery, Ahmad
Antoine.
He almost had 100 yards and a touchdown. So I think he was like 16 for 78. So he's running that pill too.
Yeah, I think we had a really well-balanced offense. You had Ahmad Antoine with 16 carries, 78. We had Caleb Johnson with 10 carries for 17. Trayvon Conley also ran on his own. Connor Wisham got in the mix. So they spread it around a lot. But the key, like you said, to hold Javion Howard to 13 carries for 41 yards.
Yeah.
Bruh, that is huge. That speaks volumes about that defensive line, man. They are bringing the heat.
Yes.
We said something about that
on the road.
Yeah, and Ahmad and Caleb, boy, they become the best running duo.
Yes.
But the only thing is, I guess the only thing is on that side.
So we got Grambling next.
We almost gave up almost 300 in passing yards, so we still got to work on that secondary.
The secondary, yes. They still are.
Yeah.
We have to pray for them. We're going to pray for them. Give them a little speed, Lord. Bless them. Give them a little extra hops. Help them to stretch their arms up, Lord, and just wave their hands and just give them some praise while you're running down the field. Just throw your hands up. The ball ain't there. Just throw your hands up anyway.
Hey, but another big thing, kick returns. When we look at if you look at the kick return stats, we are averaging over 12 yards for kick returns. That's a big deal. Yeah. When you can average over 12, that is a big deal. So I think special teams also comes into play because, we saw a couple of games this weekend that came down to special teams play. So I'm excited about that. And, with Villa Gomez able to hit a 50-yarder, hey, man, we should get points every time we touch the ball.
That's a game changer.
You cross that 35 and we good.
Yep.
So that little green line of field goal range has moved back.
So when do we start planning our December tailgate?
We're not going to talk about it yet. No, sir. Not till Thanksgiving.
Too
soon?
We're not
going to talk about it till Thanksgiving.
Too soon. Yeah, too soon.
No, sir. Too soon.
Not yet.
Too soon.
For some reason, something go wrong, we're going to go back to this moment. See, Roland start talking that mess.
We ain't going to talk about it. No, we're not going to talk about it. But no, man, great win by the team. We've got Grambling next. Grambling pulled out a win this week as well. So they beat Texas Southern. And so they're coming in, starting to feel themselves a little bit too. So this should be a really competitive game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Grambling's top linebacker, Keith, his last name's Anderson. He had a personal foul targeting, which means he will be out for 3 quarters of that game.
Oh, wow.
We must be living right, man. We living right. See,
one data point, but TSU, for all intents and purposes, should have won the game until Body was out. So they went with the backup. But TSU, all intents and purposes, still had a chance to win that game. Just lost it. They really self-imploded more so than Grambling beat them. Grambling did decide, they finally woke up and said they can play. Like, oh, we're here to play football, but it was more so TSU imploding.
Yeah, and I might call me petty, but I would like to go back to the preseason picks.
Yes, I was petty all week.
I would like to come back to the preseason picks. SWAC West preseason picks. Number 1, Southern. Number 2, Alcorn State. Number 3, Texas Southern. Number 4, Grambling State. Number 5, Prairie
Yeah.
View A&M
Prairie View,
University, just above Arkansas Pine Bluff. Now, I'm looking at our 2 wins in the SWAC, and they are against teams who were above us.
Yes, absolutely. You noticed that, huh?
How'd that work?
We coming for that
Okay,
number 1 spot.
that's it. So, like I said, we get that chip on our shoulder. All right, they don't see us coming. They don't see us coming. But we got a senior quarterback who's made his bones in the SWAC West. So he's been there. He has traveled to a championship game before, and I think he brings that pedigree and that experience and can share that with some of these new guys on the team. And I am really excited for where we're headed. Really excited.
I am too. We sure up that secondary. I think we can play with anybody.
That's it. That's
Agreed.
it. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the We Ready shout-outs. All right, of course, I think the first We Ready shout-out has got to go to our kicker, Villa Gomez, hitting that 50-yarder, baby. Clutch, the second walk-off of the season. So, Villa Gomez, he ready.
He ready.
All right.
Hey, we didn't get a chance to talk about the volleyball team, but, man, just want to give a shout-out to them. They have been – I don't know if y'all caught them or not, but, man, they have been doing the doggone thing. They swept over Alabama A&M 3-0. And then just earlier today, they just swept UAPB 3-0. So it was hey man, they doing it. And the volleyball team, they ready.
They ready.
Hey, I'm gonna say, let's get ready. You guys get ready to head north. I mean, it's gonna be on and popping up in the beautiful DFW area. You know, the state fair kicks off. PV Graham, PV alumni. We've got the big gala where, I mean, we've almost sold it out. It's going to be a beautiful situation that Friday evening. We give out so much money in scholarships. I mean, this is a really good event where we've been holding it down for a minute. But yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. We got tailgate and everything. So PV fam, let's get ready to have a great weekend and also whoop up on Graham.
There it is. Let's get it.
Can they still get tickets to the gala? Can they still get tickets to the gala? Are tickets
How can people
still
still purchase tickets for the gala?
Yeah, there's like a couple. Yeah, there's still some available. Yeah.
How can they get tickets, man? You got to know somebody. Oh, it's one of those.
I fumbled it. Call me. Get in touch with me, and I can get you tickets to the gala. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, look him up on Instagram. Look him up. What's your Instagram, Vic?
Victor Langford. That's it.
All right.
So I got 2 We ready. Roland stole my little deal on the volleyball, but still I want to give 2 players specifically, Janya Henderson and Kylie Owens. They are number 3 and 4. The SWAC website is not updated, but they are in the tops in 2 categories: hitting percentage or scoring percentage. And my favorite category, kills. Yeah, Kylie Owens, number 2, only behind Elise Dooms from Southern and ahead of Brooklyn from Florida A&M. Florida A&M, to their credit, they have a lot of folks, but Kylie and Johnny, they are ready.
They ready. All right, let's try and take this thing out of here. Shanetta not here.
Wait a minute. Before you do it, happy 29th anniversary to my wife, beautiful wife, because I'm going to hear it. 29 years.
Happy anniversary to Michael Kim.
Yes.
And I was there, and my tuxedo didn't fit right. It was sexual harassment, but I was there.
I had some shrinkage.
Hey, I see no reason not to have a happy anniversary.
And they was like, "It's not about you. This not your day."
For real. Hey, but he stood up there like a champ.
Hey, man. I was like, man, don't get me in this picture. Congratulations, bro. Y'all raised a beautiful family, man, and been getting it in for so long, man. I'm just so proud because I can remember when y'all were dating, and we were staying over there and on Cherry Street in PV. So yeah, y'all probably been together about 30, man. So congratulations, bro.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Yep. So
All right,
Cherry
let's
Springs.
take it on out of here. So let me get the metronome going. PV,
You know.
Oh,
How he
man.
gave you the beat and y'all
I
still
got the
messed it
beat.
up. He been sitting here literally.
I thought I
Roll the
came
credits,
in
man.
on time.
Come on,
I thought I
man.
did it.
We
I
gotta
think
do
you were
one of
slow
these.
rolling. That's on you, Rolling.
We gotta go to DJ Khaled.
Man, roll the clip.
Roll the credits, man.
roll the
Roll
Come
the
on,
credits.
Roland.
Okay, I see y'all with the new credits.
You saw
Got the
that,
little
huh?
raindrops
Drip.
on the window.
Little raindrops.
All right,
Raindrops
all
keep
right.
falling on my.
It's my window. I can't stand the rain.
And you.